Good afternoon, all. We're still admitting people to the meeting, so we'll start in 3 minutes, I hope. Yes, okay, perfect. Herkes burada mı? Benim şeyden bağlanabilirsin. Okay. Yeah. Please give us a few minutes. Meanwhile, we're admitting everybody who's waiting. Tamam, sen kabul et. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Muy buenos días. Herkese merhaba. I'll continue in English for the sake of the meeting so that everybody understands and we don't have to translate all the time. I'm Yasemen Korukçu. I'm one of the founders and actual president of the Turkish Spanish Chamber of Commerce. We are established in 2011. And as of today, with like 6 people at that moment, as of today, we have more than 130 companies, institutions that are member, and each day increasing, which is making Camera Comercio Hispano-Turca a significant player in the relations between Turkey and Spain. So in accordance with our aim to increase the interactions between Turkey and Spain, we are organizing webinars. So today, we are here today with my colleague, because I represent the Investment Support and Promotion Agency, which was a old name. It's the Presidency Investment and Finance Office in Spain. My colleague Anas here will make the presentation on behalf of our office, Invest in Türkiye, and he'll be presenting why to choose Turkey as an investment destination. And followed by his presentation, Ms. Çiğdem Dağdelen from EUCorps will make a presentation about maybe not such a fun subject, but definitely very relevant and important subject about the taxation issues in Turkey. So please feel free, once the presentations are finished, to hold your hand, to raise your hand, and either send your questions through chat or just present yourself and make your questions. And we hope you find this webinar relevant and useful for you. So thanks all for joining. I'll leave the floor to Anas.
Thank you, Yasemen. I'll start sharing my presentation. I beg your confirmation that everything is fine. Okay, so can you see the first slide?
Yes.
Great. So distinguished guests, my name is Anas Makhmalji. As Yasemen previously mentioned, I serve in the Investment and Finance Office of the Presidency of the Republic of Türkiye. And well, first of all, I would like to thank the Camera de Comercio Hispano-Turca and EUCorps for this insightful webinar, which I trust will be really interesting and informative. Well, during my presentation, I'll be walking you through these 10 reasons, briefly represented in this slide, of why Turkey stands out as one of the most attractive investment destinations globally. And I will kick off with the topic of the robust economy of Turkey. So, standing in the 18th position in 2003, Turkey has climbed to the 12th position in 2024. And the forecast indicates that for 2026 and for 2052, Turkey will be the 10th and the 5th largest economy, respectively, based on GDP at purchasing power parity. With an average annual growth of GDP 5.3% for the period between 2002 and 2024, Turkey stands out as one of the fastest growing countries in the world and the fastest growing among the OECD countries. And staying a bit more in the topic of Turkey's economy, let's have a look now at the macro fundamentals. As you can see in this slide, the low public debt to GDP ratio, which is under the 60% of the Maastricht criteria, and together with the low budget balance deficit relative to the GDP, also generally stable and close to the deficit of 3% of the Maastricht criteria, highlight the success in the management of the public finance in Turkey, supporting the economy in times of regional and global crisis. And last but not least for Turkey's economy, over the past 22 years, Turkey has grown 5 times in terms of GDP at current prices, from $238 billion to $1.4 trillion by 2024. This growth has been driven mainly by a contribution of 74% by the domestic market, domestic consumption, 27% from investments and expenditures, and 24% accounting from exportations. So now zooming in the domestic market of Turkey, which has fueled economic growth and led to a sizable middle class with increasing purchasing power. Here in this slide, we can see a key indicator, which is the income per capita, increasing from around 11,000 in 2002 to reach $40,500 in 2024. Other key indicators that settle the growth by the domestic market are the rising number of automobile stock, for example, increasing from $4.6 million in 2002 to stock number of automobiles to 16.2 million by 2024. Or also the booming in aviation passengers, rising from 34 million in 2002 to reach 230 million passengers by 2024. Indicators that also paint Turkey as an attractive source for retail industry and services industry as well. So another factor that contributes to a healthy dynamic domestic market are the emerging urban centers in Turkey. Turkey, with a population of 85.7 million persons, with half of them under the age of 34.4, and also with 24 urban centers with more than 1 million residents in each, denotes a high labor force and a growing market demand supporting the domestic consumption. And let's see now Turkey's market reach. As I just mentioned in my previous slide, with a population of 85.7 million in the domestic market, plus 449 million in the European market, owing to the customs union that Turkey has with the European Union, and which allows direct access to the market, and plus 488 million of persons, owing to the free trade agreements with more than 30 different countries, Turkey offers access to more than 1 billion potential consumers. And I think this is a number to keep in mind. So the access to these markets is further supported by Turkey's location, which makes the country a regional hub for multinational companies to manufacture, to export, and to manage their operations from in the region, from Turkey. Also, Turkey offers connectivity with more than 353 international destinations in 131 countries with the grant of Turkish Airlines. And Turkey also connects with 1.3 billion people within 4-hour flights. So all of them figures that are really interesting. Its strategic location also allows overlapping working hours with 16 different time zones. And lots of multinational companies have been established here in and use Turkey as a hub. Companies such as Hugo Boss, Ford, Toyota, Nestle, and many other ones. They have all selected Turkey as a hub for their manufacturing, and they are exporting significant portion of the production to the markets of Turkey. With an export average growth of 9.4% within the period of 2002 and 2024, and above the global 6.1% rate, Turkey's exportations increased from 36 billion in 2002 to hit a record of $262 billion by 2024, proving the strength of this strategic hub. And for the same period as well, Turkey's export share in the global trade has been rising to reach a 1% of the global exportation. That is, from all the exportations in the world, Turkey accounts for the 1% of the cake. And the destination of those exportations were mainly the European Union, Middle East and North Africa region, and North America. For both, for all the period. It didn't change. Also, it's interesting to see the number of products exported with a value over $1 billion, which increased from 9 in 2002 to reach a 53 products, different products exported with a value over 1 billion for the same period. And now talking about demographics, as mentioned quite before, with half of the Turkish population under the age of 34.4, Turkey's young, dynamic, and growing population is another attractive factor that calls investors as it continues to boost working age population. With also a low dependency ratio, as per contrast with the European Union ratio, giving Turkey a long-term workforce advantage. And let me talk now about the Turkey's skilled and competitive labor force. Maintaining a relative low cost of living with high availability of qualified engineers and managers as compared with other countries, this combination makes Turkey as a huge pool of talent, and to meet businesses' needs. Numbers also justify the upgraded education system in Turkey, with almost 1 million university graduates in 2024, 355,000 students in vocational and technical high schools, increasing the educational level of the labor force. And let me talk now about the reforms of continuous reform process of Turkey. Over the past 2 decades, Turkey has been building a stable base for continuous improvement. Sorry. From every 18 to 24 months, Turkey was rolling out significant reforms across different sectors to foster a business-friendly environment. Reforms such as the FDI law in 2003, creating a supportive ecosystem for early-stage investors, for early-stage investments, with a liberal investment environment, with equal treatment between international and local investors. Other reforms, such as the establishment of our office, the Investment and Finance Office of the Presidency, in 2006. Also, for example, the personal data protection law established in 2016, the high-tech investment program, HIT 30, in 2024, which allocates a budget of $30 billion for high-tech investments in Turkey, or the new investment incentive system this year, which also offered broad package of incentives. All these reforms are, and the reform approach, show the commitment for Turkey's improvement. And owing to all these reforms and to this reforms approach, led by the government, Turkey's business landscape is transforming. In Turkey now, it takes less than 7 days to set up a company, down from the 38 days in 2002. And in terms of benchmark indicators, in both FDI and FDI Regulatory Restrictiveness Index and the Ease of Doing Business ranking, which now has changed. I think it has another name. Turkey holds a great position in both of them. Other reasons that represents Turkey's ease of doing business environment is its position among the world's most competitive nations in the 2024 Tax Competitiveness Index. Turkey offers also protection to international investors, not only with the FDI law, but also with bilateral investment protection treaties with 89 countries, and by treaties to avoid double taxation with also 93 countries. So what's more, Turkey offers a great package of attractive incentives, exclusive incentives for manufacturing, for service exporters, for employment, for technology and technology development zones to support R&D. Also, there are R&D and innovation incentives and exclusive zones such as free zones, organized industrial zones, and other kind of zones. So now looking at Turkey's R&D ecosystem, more than 760 international companies operating in R&D within Turkey, in R&D centers and technoparks, with more than 307,000 researchers and more than 50 billion USD in R&D spendings, outpacing countries such as Poland, Hungary, or also Romania. In this slide, here are some of the selected international companies conducting R&D in Turkey. Companies such as Huawei, Siemens, Unilever, DHL, Valeo, Theva Logistics, or Amadeus as well, with whom we signed recently an MOU, and lots of more companies. Turkey also offers an ample opportunities across many different sectors. Sectors such as aerospace and defense, with $25 billion defense spending, machinery and electrical equipment, being Turkey the largest TV and white goods producer in Europe. In terms of agro-food sector, Turkey is the first agriculture producer in Europe. For the energy, Turkey also is the sixth largest electricity market, has the sixth largest electricity market in Turkey, in European Union. In terms of automotive, Turkey is the fourth largest manufacturer in the European Union, with 1.4 million vehicles produced. Infrastructure, $215 billion in public-private partnership contracts, or ICT as well, with a market size of 36.7 billion by 2024. So foreign direct investment inflows have also grown from $15 billion in the period of 1973 to 2002 to reach $273 billion in the last 22 years period. And in 2024, the number of international companies in Turkey reached a figure of 86.4 thousand from the 5,000 or 5,500 in 2002. This investment is mainly coming from Europe, but also from Asia, North America, and the Gulf countries. And the main sectors of this FDI increase are the finance, manufacturing, energy, wholesale and retails, and other sectors. Now, finally, I would like to wrap up my presentation shedding light on my organization, which supports the Investment and Finance Office of Turkey, supports investors before, during, and after the investments in Turkey. We are a governmental agency which reports directly to the President of the Republic with a private sector approach, but with all the public sector capabilities. And we act as a solution partner for investors, providing investors with general and customized business information, sectoral information, site selection support. We arrange also meetings with governmental bodies and other stakeholders, and we help investors find potential partners to establish linkages with businesses in Turkey. With that information, my presentation comes to an end. We will be sharing this presentation along with my contact information, so please feel free to contact me for your questions and comments. I'll be glad to answer you. Thank you, and I give the floor to the next speaker.
Thank you so much, Anas. It's always a pleasure for me to re-listen our presentation each time renewed, so thank you. And now I leave the floor to Ms. Çiğdem Dağdelen for the tax issues, because I think this is like you can run but you can't hide, so we need to learn and to get the best of our business in Turkey. So please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Çiğdem Dağdelen, and welcome to our session doing business in Turkey. I am really happy to see everyone here, and I want to thank you to Spanish Chamber of Commerce to making this event possible and to bringing us together. Over the next 20 minutes, which Ms. Yasemin mentioned that little bit boring subject taxes, but we will make through that makes Turkey such a dynamic place to invest and do the business. We will talk about the legal framework and tax system and the key sector they are really driving growth today. And then first of all, let me start a brief introduction about company EUCorps, and I will give the floor to my colleagues, Mr. Fırat.
Good afternoon, dear members, and a special all of you. Today, as Çiğdem Hanım said, we will first talk with our company EUCorps, and my name is Fırat Bircan. I am a partner at EUCorps. EUCorps is an Istanbul-based corporate advisory firm operating in Turkey for over 15 years. We are a team of 25 professionals specialized in helping international and domestic companies enter, operate, and grow in the Turkish market. Today, the team is doing business in Turkey, and I would like to briefly share why Turkey remains a promising destination to support and also to support Anas. And thank you for the explanatory presentation, Anas, and how EUCorps could support your journey in Turkey. As also Anas mentioned, Turkey offers strategic access to both Europe and Middle East markets, and also young and skilled workforce, competitive cost structures for your companies and for other foreigners. However, to succeed in Turkey and also all other countries, you should have a local insight, trusted partnership, and also financial clarity. And today also you have to know the data, true data. So in this point, that is exactly where EUCorps comes in. In EUCorps, we provide end-to-end financial and corporate advisory services, including accounting and tax solutions, tax advisory, accounting system setups, financial statement reporting, tax risk analysis, R&D and technopark accounting, and other audit revision and due diligence services. Also, we have corporate finance solutions, which is support critical decisions during investments, acquisitions, and restructuring in Turkey. For this situation in corporate finance, we deliver valuation analysis, financial due diligence, M&A advisory, purchase and price allocations for the IFRS and other accounting systems, and feasibility studies, ensuring every decision for our system backed by transparent data and risk-aware projections. Also, as Anas and I mentioned, Turkey is a high-growing country, and this country has a lot of startups and other highly growth and early-stage companies. So we provide startup financial solutions also as a strategic decision making. Through our CFO as a service model, we design financial models, reporting systems, and investment decks, helping founders transition and also to acquire the investments. Also, we support companies from fundraising, from planning investment alignment, ensuring they became fundable and scalable businesses. We also offer recruitment and acquisition services through the EU HR division, helping companies build reliable operational teams in Turkey. But we only have services for the financial and accounting personnel. And now I think Çiğdem Hanım has some.
Yes, thank you, Fırat. As Anas mentioned that the key point is foreign direct investment law in Turkey. This law built a very simple principle, and the foreign and local investors are treated equally. Means that you don't need a special approval for the invest, just a notification process in there. And it's transparent, quick, and designed to encourage the new capital into coming in Turkey. Also, this law protects the investor rights. You can freely repatriate profit on 100% of your company, and you are protected from expropriation. In short, Turkey investment environment is stable, predictable, and in line with the EU standards. Something every international investor values for the FDI law in Turkey. Actually, Mr. Anas mentioned about this part but also I will give the floor to key sectors to watching in 2025 in Turkey. Fırat.
As Anas mentioned and Çiğdem Hanım mentioned, Turkey is a growing economy with really strong momentum across multiple sectors, each offering significant opportunities for international investors. For example, technology and innovation, because Turkey is rapidly transforming, he's doing businesses and all of the businesses from the aviation to the car manufacturing, a regional, and we need a software and R&D companies, which Turkey really support these sectors. And renewable energy is also very dynamic and how can I say, a good investment opportunity for Turkey, because with soaring investments in solar and wind, Turkey is positioning itself as a clean energy production center for the wider range. For example, for some days, our electricity production comes from the renewable sources, more than 50% of our electricity production. And also, tourism is always a hot topic in Turkey. Moving beyond traditional travel, Turkey is expanding into medical, luxury, and cultural tourism and offering attractive returns. And also, agriculture and food is also very good and really need to watch in 2025 and beyond, I think.
Okay, I am right now is going to deep little bit text side. For the corporate vehicles in Turkey, if you are considering to set up a company in Turkey, you have got a few options. Two main ones are first, limited liability companies. Minimum capital needs 50,000 Turkish lira. This type of entities great for the small and medium business. Joint stock company needs the minimum 250 Turkish lira capital by the larger firms and those planning to go to public. And those two type of entities, just one shareholder enough to establishment. Then there are the branch offices which operate as a representative for the foreign companies, and also liaison office, which are representation only. There is no commercial activity if you want to establish the liaison office in Turkey. Whether you are a startup, a larger or startup multinational companies, the legal framework is flexible enough to fit your needs, actually. It is easy to establish, as Mr. Anas mentioned, that easy to process, and it takes several days to establishment. Corporate vehicles, yes. Let's talk about the taxes, and then I promise to you, keep this part clear and painless. Turkey, I can say that Turkey's tax system is structured practically in line with the international standards. Let's summarize the key taxes. First one is corporate tax. Corporate tax rate is 25% in Turkey, and the advance payment is quarterly. Resident entities are taxed on global income, non-resident only Turkey source income, and I can say that losses can be carried forward 5 years in Turkey. And also VAT, actually standard VAT rate is 20%, but we have 1% VAT for basic food products, 10% accommodation, cinema, theater ticket, or health and education services. And also exporters can claim the VAT refund. Reverse charge VAT applies to cross-border services. Dividend withholding tax is 15%, but we can reduce to under double taxation treaties. Dividends between the resident Turkish entities are exempt. There is a bunch of tax for payroll and employment side. Personal income tax is progressive, between 15% and 40%. Stamp duty on gross salaries, social security contribution, employees, total is 15%, is including unemployment side. Employer is to 22.75%. There is also a social security side. There is a ceiling in 2025, 195K. We can say that. Also, in Turkey, there is a subject to stamp duty. Every contract, agreement, financial statements, and tax return. Rate depends on the document type, and there is a capped for 2000. There is a capped if your agreement's stamp tax is over the 224 million Turkish lira. This is the cap for announced by the Ministry of Finance in 2025. But share purchase agreement is exempt from the stamp duty tax. Deductibility of expenses, the expenses must be directly related, generating, maintaining business income. In line with the land principle, properly documented. In Turkey is very strict about the documentation. Non-deductible expenses, there is some limited shareholders loan interest, inappropriate transfer pricing, certain reserves, corporate tax penalties is non-deductible in Turkey. There is some limitation for financial expenses. If your borrowing is excess to 10% of equity, expense becomes a non-deductible, except when this borrowing is capitalized for investment. Overall, Turkey's system combines the clarity, structure, and incentive for compliant taxpayers. I'm trying to explain it fastly, and then I will take your questions. Borrowing from abroad. We can say that can Turkish companies borrow from abroad? Yes, and quite easy, but of course there is some taxes and obligation for that. But if you do the properly this kind of things, it's easy to take the borrowing from the abroad. The only condition that all these loans must go through the authorized Turkish bank. Loan agreement must detail payments, repayments, and plans to and are registered with the indentory bank, ensure the proper monitoring and compliance. But still, companies full access to international financing in Turkey. As I mentioned before, the dividend distribution in Turkey, 15% withholding tax, but when it comes to profit for an investor, can freely transfer the dividends to abroad. The only condition, as I said, you allocate the required legal reserve first, and then pay the 15% withholding tax, which can be reduced with the double taxation treaties. Beyond that, profit repatriation is open and unrestricted. It is simple, safe, and aligned with the global standards. We can say that. For the other taxes, of course, we have other taxes. Special consumption tax for the fuel, vehicles, tobacco, and luxury goods. Property tax applies to building and land. The percentage of change depending on the property types. Insurance and gift tax between 1% and 30%. Motor vehicle parts depends on the vehicle types and age. BITT is 5% on certain financial revenues. All these are well defined, predictable, and easy to plan, explained very well in our law. And then if we summarize the Turkey tax environment and the investment side, Turkey offers, as Anas and Fırat mentioned, that strategic location, a young and capable workforce, a transparent investment framework, and the modern tax system, and align with the global standards. This is my presentation ending. On behalf of EUCorps, thank you for joining today's session. I hope this gave you a clear and realistic view on how to do business in Turkey. I will be happy to take your question. If you need more details, please feel free to contact with me directly. We will share our presentation. You can reach to our contact details. We are happy to answer all your questions.
Thank you so much, Çiğdem. Actually, this was a presentation for me more easy to understand, so I appreciate it. I hope the assistant as well. The floor is open. If anybody wants to ask a question, please feel free. You can raise your hands and make a question. Can you please take this presentation off the screen?
Sure, sorry.
Was it all clear? We'll send you the presentations anyway, but
yes.
Yes.
Also, you know, as I mentioned before, the tax issue is very specific for everyone. If any consultancy needed, they can directly contact with us. We are happy to help them.
Definitely, it's a very technical issue.
please also, any one of the guests, feel free to reach out with us and ask us the questions that they have. We'll be happy to answer them or help them.
By the way, even though Anas is in our office in Istanbul, he speaks perfect Spanish and he's a Spanish citizen also. So we are at your service here or there, but more than happy to always collaborate with other partners. So I think EUCorps was a very good partner for this technical issue. So thank you for your presentation.
Definitely.
And our commercial counselor is also here. Maybe he would like to say hi, Mr. Önder Togal, so that he's new, so that he can present himself. Just a minute. Can you? Okay, for the others, just a minute. Are you? Ekliyorsun değil mi? Açıyorsun. Sorry, it's our thing. Yes, you can. Now you can open your mic yourself. Yeah, you need to open your mic, Önder.
Here. Okay, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So hello everyone. I'm Önder Şafak Tongal. I'm the new commercial counselor in Madrid. It's been only 2 months here. Yeah, my adaptation period is still going on, but you know, this is a really nice city. There are really good business opportunities here. So I mean, we also work with Yasemen so close. We are in a good collaboration. So if you need to do anything, if you need to know how to do business in Madrid, in Spain, we are here to help you. In Spain, we have actually 2 offices. One is Madrid and the other is Barcelona. Barcelona offices, they have much more an authority in the regions of how to say, like northeastern parts of the Spain, and the other parts is it's on our authority. So as I said, I mean, if you need to know anything about the business environment, opportunities, the regulations of export import between Turkey and Spain, we are here to help you. We have a good system of how to say, like public incentives. If the company located in Turkey, you can all the companies can use those. Also, as I said, we have some good systems to help you. For example, müşavire danışın. So I can share the links here. So any kind of questions about business in Madrid, I mean Spain, we are here to help you. And thank you again for the presentations and this organization, Yasemen and her team. Yeah.
Perfect. Anyone else want to present or ask a question? Okay, my name appears like Tarık, but actually I'm Yasemen, just to avoid any confusion. So if there is no other questions or comments, I would like to thank you all for joining us. I hope you found this useful. I would like to mention once again that we are very open to organizing similar webinars in an issue that is of your interest. I would like to also thank EUCorps for this nice presentation. And I'm happy to hear that they can help you with your tax issues if anyone is interested. Because as the investment office, we help the investors in all aspects, but obviously we don't do their tax, we don't do the company establishment, whatever, we just guide them. So you can always collaborate with the companies in those issues. And as I said, my partner Anas and I He speaks better Spanish than myself in any way, but we are at your disposal in any language that you find important. So thank you all. Hope to see you another occasion.
Thank you. Thank you, Yasemin.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Çiğdem Hanım, sunuşunuzu alalım. Aldık zaten, galiba bizde var. Onu paylaşalım izninizle. Anas, bizim
Tabii
sonuçta
ki.
paylaşacağız. Önder Bey, size de teşekkürler katılımınız
Ben
için.
teşekkür ederim. Elinize sağlık. Elinize sağlık.
Evet.
Sağ olun.
Evet,
Teşekkür
biz de öğrenmiş olduk açıkçası biraz vergi konularını. We'll be in touch. Teşekkürler.
Keep in touch. Thank you.
Sağ olun.
Görüşmek
Teşekkür
Hoşçakalın.
ederim.
Görüşürüz.
Üzere.